Welcome to Civics Study Guide USA. Preparing for your US Naturalization Test doesn't have to be a dry exercise in memorizing a list of questions. Today, we're going to walk through the official 2025 Civics Test by weaving the required information into a single, cohesive story. First, let's look at how the test works. The Civics Test is an oral exam. If you filed your application for naturalization on or after October 20th, 2025, a USCIS officer will ask you up to 20 out of the 128 possible questions from the 2025 version of the test. You must answer at least 12 questions correctly to pass. If you are 65 years old or older and have lived in the United States as a lawful permanent resident for 20 or more years, you only need to study the 20 questions marked with an asterisk in the official materials. We've covered those in a shorter video linked in the description. For everyone else studying the full test, let's begin our story. Our story begins with the core ideas that shape the United States. The official form of government of the United States is a republic, a constitution-based federal republic, or a representative democracy. The foundation of this entire system relies on a single document, as the U.S. Constitution serves as the supreme law of the land. The U.S. Constitution performs several vital functions. It forms the government, defines its powers, defines the parts of government, and protects the rights of the people. This document establishes exactly who holds the ultimate power right from its opening phrase. The U.S. Constitution starts with the words, "We the people," which signifies self-government, popular sovereignty, the consent of the governed, or the idea that people should govern themselves. To ensure this framework could endure and adapt over centuries, the framers built a system to modify it. Changes are made to the U.S. Constitution through amendments or the amendment process. The very earliest updates specifically protected individual liberties, as the Bill of Rights protects the basic rights of Americans and people living in the United States. Over the years, more updates were ratified, and today the U.S. Constitution has exactly 27 amendments. The Constitution didn't appear out of thin air. It was heavily shaped by earlier political struggles and structural experiments. Many documents influenced the U.S. Constitution, including the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Federalist Papers. Looking closely at those root ideals, the Declaration of Independence is foundational because it says America is free from British control, states that all people are created equal, and identifies inherent rights and individual freedoms. This makes the Declaration of Independence the definitive founding document that said the American colonies were free from Britain. Two important ideas shared across both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution are equality and liberty. In fact, the famous words, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are written directly in the Declaration of Independence. These foundational systems also set up how everyday life and business function across the nation. The economic system of the United States is based on capitalism, or a free market economy. Under this system, no single person holds absolute power because the rule of law dictates that everyone must follow the law, leaders and the government must obey the law, and no one is above the law. To maintain this strict accountability, the government is intentionally divided into three branches, so one part does not become too powerful, ensuring a system of checks and balances and the separation of powers. This divided structure shapes how the American system operates day to day. The three branches of government are the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, which can also be described as Congress, the President, and the courts. The part of the federal government that writes laws is the legislative branch, or the U.S. Congress. The U.S. Congress is split into two distinct parts, the Senate and House of Representatives. Together, the primary powers of the U.S. Congress include the authority to write laws, declare war, and make the federal budget. Power is balanced within Congress itself, starting with the upper chamber. There are exactly 100 U.S. senators in total. To keep representation fair, each state has exactly 2 senators. Each state receives 2 senators to ensure equal representation for small states, which was a core agreement known as the Great Compromise. Once elected, a term for a U.S. senator lasts for 6 years. A U.S. senator represents the citizens and people of their state, and it is the citizens from their state who elect them. The other half of the legislature is the House of Representatives, which features a much larger roster of 435 voting members. A term for a member of the House of Representatives lasts just 2 years. U.S. representatives serve these shorter terms than U.S. senators specifically to more closely follow public opinion. A member of the House of Representatives represents the people in their congressional district, and they are elected directly by the citizens from their congressional district. The size of these districts varies across the country because some states have more representatives than other states due to the state's population, meaning they have more people. Once Congress writes and passes a bill, it moves to the leader of the next branch. The President of the United States is in charge of the executive branch of government. The President of the United States is elected for a term of 4 years. Because of the 22nd Amendment, the President of the United States can serve only 2 terms to keep the President from becoming too powerful. If the President can no longer serve, the Vice President becomes President. The President of the United States holds substantial executive authority and possesses the power to sign bills into law, veto bills, enforces laws, act as Commander-in-Chief of the military, and appoint federal judges. To break down those duties explicitly, the President serves as the Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military. It is the President who signs bills to become laws, the President who vetoes bills, and the President who appoints federal judges. The executive branch is vast and contains many parts, including the President, the Cabinet, and various federal departments and agencies. The primary role of the President's Cabinet is to advise the President of the United States. 2 examples of cabinet-level positions are the Attorney General and the Vice President. Winning the presidency requires navigating a unique constitutional voting process. The Electoral College is important because it decides who is elected president and provides a compromise between the popular election of the president and congressional selection. When legal disputes emerge over the laws passed by Congress and enforced by the president, the final branch steps in. The judicial branch is made up of the Supreme Court and the federal courts. The judicial branch is responsible for reviewing laws, explaining laws, resolving disputes and disagreements about the law, and deciding if a law goes against the U.S. Constitution. The highest court in the United States is the Supreme Court. There are 9 seats on the Supreme Court, and it usually takes 5 Supreme Court justices to decide a case. Supreme Court justices receive a lifetime appointment and serve for life until retirement. Supreme Court justices serve for life specifically to be independent of politics and to limit outside political influence. Power in America is also shared geographically between the central government in Washington and local state capitals. Under this federal system, some powers belong only to the federal government, such as the power to print paper money, declare war, create an army, and make treaties. Other powers are reserved only for the states, which are responsible for providing schooling and education, providing protection through the police, providing safety through fire departments, and giving driver's licenses. This division of power is explicitly protected by the 10th Amendment, which states that powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or to the people. This balance of power directly impacts your role, responsibilities, and protections as an individual. The Constitution has been updated several times to expand political access. For example, there are 4 amendments to the U.S. Constitution about who can vote, and one of them describes that citizens 18 and older can vote. Certain core political responsibilities belong strictly to those who hold citizenship. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections, run for federal office, and serve on a jury in the United States. However, many basic protections belong to everyone living in the United States, including freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion. When we join together to say the Pledge of Allegiance, we show our loyalty to the United States and the flag. For immigrants undergoing the naturalization process, this commitment becomes official. In the Oath of Allegiance, new citizens make promises to give up loyalty to other countries, defend the U.S. Constitution, obey the laws of the United States, and be loyal to the United States. Broadly speaking, people can become United States citizens by being born in the United States under the conditions of the 14th Amendment or by going through the process to naturalize. American citizenship is designed to be active. 2 examples of civic participation in the United States are voting and running for office. More broadly, Americans can serve their country by voting, paying taxes, obeying the law, or serving in the military. Some requirements are mandated for everyone to keep the country running safely. It is important to pay federal taxes because it is required by law, is a civic duty, and ensures that all people pay to fund the federal government. Young men face an additional civic requirement, as it is important for all men aged 18 through 25 to register for the Selective Service because it is required by law, serves as a civic duty, and makes the draft fair, if needed. To understand why these laws and responsibilities exist, we have to look back at the history of the land. Long before Europeans arrived, Native Americans or American Indians lived in America. Eventually, waves of ships arrived from across the Atlantic, carrying people with vastly different experiences. The colonists came to America for many different reasons, including freedom, political liberty, religious freedom, and economic opportunity. Another large population arrived completely against their will, as Africans were taken and sold as slaves. Over time, tensions exploded between the colonies and the British government, leading the Americans to fight the American Revolution, or the Revolutionary War, to win their independence. Among many reasons, Americans declared independence from Britain due to high taxes, the Boston Tea Party, and because they did not have self-government. This rebellion was formalized in writing by Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was officially adopted on July 4, 1776. The American Revolution was defined by many important events, including the Declaration of Independence, the Battle of Bunker Hill, and the final British surrender at Yorktown. Following their victory, the 13 original states were formed, which included New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Winning independence meant the new nation needed a permanent framework for law, which led to the U.S. Constitution being written in 1787. Getting the public to accept this new central authority required a massive public debate. To support the passage of the U.S. Constitution, authors like James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay published the Federalist Papers under the name Publius. The Federalist Papers were important because they helped people understand the U.S. Constitution and supported passing it. This foundational era was shaped by iconic historical figures who are famous for distinct reasons. Benjamin Franklin is famous for founding the first free public libraries, serving as the first Postmaster General of the United States, and working as an inventor and U.S. diplomat. George Washington is famous as the father of our country, the first president of the United States, and the general of the Continental Army. Thomas Jefferson is famous as the writer of the Declaration of Independence, the third president of the United States, and the leader who doubled the size of the United States with the Louisiana Purchase. James Madison is famous as the father of the Constitution and the fourth president of the United States. Alexander Hamilton is famous as one of the writers of the Federalist Papers and the first Secretary of the Treasury who helped establish the first bank of the United States. Moving into the 19th century, the nation grew rapidly. In 1803, the United States bought the Louisiana Territory from France. This rapid expansion brought deep political conflicts alongside traditional military struggles. The United States fought several major conflicts in the 1800s, including the War of 1812, the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. The most devastating of these was the Civil War, which was the U.S. war fought between the North and the South. The Civil War is also the defining U.S. war that ended slavery. The Civil War was marked by many critical historical milestones, including the Battle of Fort Sumter, the Emancipation Proclamation, the Battle of Gettysburg, and the tragic fact that Lincoln was assassinated. The leader who guided the nation through this fracture left a monumental legacy. Abraham Lincoln is famous for freeing the slaves, saving the Union, leading the United States during the Civil War, and delivering the Gettysburg Address. The Emancipation Proclamation specifically achieved this by freeing the slaves in the Confederacy. Following the war, the nation amended its laws to rebuild and expand civil protections. The 14th Amendment established that all persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are U.S. citizens. Political access grew soon after. All men got the right to vote after the Civil War during Reconstruction with the ratification of the 15th Amendment. Meanwhile, other Americans were still forced to fight for their own political voice, led by pioneers like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Harriet Tubman, who became famous as leaders of the women's rights movement in the 1800s. The 20th century pushed the United States into major global responsibilities. The United States fought in several major modern conflicts in the 1900s, including World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Persian Gulf War. Looking at the first global conflict, the United States entered World War I because Germany attacked U.S. civilian ships and to support the Allied powers. Shortly after that war concluded, a massive domestic milestone was reached when all women got the right to vote in 1920 via the 19th Amendment. Severe economic hardship soon followed this social progress. The Great Depression stands as the longest economic recession in modern history. The Great Depression started with the stock market crash of 1929, an event also known as the Great Crash. Franklin Roosevelt served as president during both the Great Depression and World War II. The United States was eventually pulled into World War II, once again to support the Allied powers, because the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. A key military leader from that conflict later transitioned to the White House. Dwight Eisenhower is famous for serving as a general during World War II and becoming the 34th president of the United States. Following World War II, a new kind of geopolitical tension emerged. The United States' main rival during the Cold War was the Soviet Union, or the USSR. During the Cold War, the primary concerns of the United States were communism and nuclear war. This focus dictated military actions overseas. The United States entered the Korean War and the Vietnam War to stop the spread of communism. At the exact same time, a massive fight for legal equality was occurring on domestic soil, as the civil rights movement fought to end racial discrimination. Martin Luther King Jr. became world famous for fighting for civil rights and working to ensure that people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. As the century turned, foreign conflicts shifted back to the Middle East. The United States entered the Persian Gulf War to force the Iraqi military from Kuwait. A new era of security concerns began on domestic soil on September 11, 2001, when terrorists attacked the United States by hijacking planes and crashing them into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Following the September 11th attacks, the United States initiated military conflicts known as the War on Terror, the War in Afghanistan, and the War in Iraq. Beyond these modern conflicts, the true identity of America is defined by both its ancient heritage and its constant drive for forward-thinking progress. Examples of prominent American Indian tribes in the United States include the Apache, the Cherokee, and the Navajo. This enduring spirit of development is highlighted by iconic examples of American innovation, such as cars, skyscrapers, and the moon landing. We conclude our story by looking at the symbols that visibly represent these historical struggles and triumphs. Today, these national achievements are centered in Washington, D.C., which serves as the capital of the United States. If you travel to New York, you will find the Statue of Liberty on the Hudson River. The American flag itself tells the direct story of our national growth. The flag has 13 stripes because there were 13 original colonies. It also features 50 stars because there is one star for each state, representing all 50 states. The official name of the national anthem is the Star-Spangled Banner. Long before our current national slogans, the founders chose a Latin phrase that perfectly summarized the experiment of uniting diverse colonies. The nation's first motto was E pluribus unum, a phrase that means out of many, one. Finally, the United States reserves specific days every year to remember its history and honor its people. Independence Day is celebrated as a holiday to mark U.S. independence from Britain, serving as the country's birthday. 3 examples of national U.S. holidays include New Year's Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. 2 specific holidays honor those who stepped forward to protect our freedoms. Memorial Day is a holiday dedicated to honoring soldiers who died in military service. Meanwhile, Veterans Day is a holiday to honor people who have served in the U.S. military. That completes our narrative journey through the 2025 civics test questions. For the time-specific and state-specific questions that vary based on where you live and when you take your test, please check the video description below. We have included links and instructions on how to find your local governor, senators, representative, and current government officials. Thank you for joining us at Civic Study Guide USA. If you found this video helpful on your path to citizenship, please hit that like button and subscribe to support the channel. Best of luck on your naturalization interview.